Well, guys, welcome on to the show, and I appreciate you coming on because I know they've got you on a vicious promotional circuit at the moment.
Yeah.
Doing our thing, you know.
We called up and said, we'll come down and do a couple interviews in Australia.
Foolish.
4 days of 18 hours.
It's just
never
not
do
on,
that.
is it?
Never do that.
Yeah, never say that. But I'll hold up the album again, although, as I said, it doesn't really come across on tape. There is a steak on it.
None more black.
There's a snake on it, though. And this is a great album. This is your fifth one. You guys must be really happy with its success.
Definitely. Very proud of it.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? Because it sold like 1 million copies. Because it's a slight, or not so much a departure as a progression for the band, were you surprised that it kicked in as well as it has?
Well, without sounding like really arrogant.
Go for it, Lars. Go for it.
I think we had an idea that we were onto something that was quite special. I think during the writing and the making of this record, we really felt that everything was lining up right for this record to be something that was just, you know, when you make that one record that really hits it right on the mark, it felt like it was this one.
Yeah, I think so. I've got this.
Is that modest enough?
No, that worked for me.
Okay.
I didn't feel the arrogance thing. Jason, how did you feel?
It might have been a little surprise, you know, no matter what. I mean, we all knew we had a good thing, of course, but to actually see it take off and be #1 in a number of countries within the first couple of weeks of release was really a good surprise.
But it is a good album. I mean, I must say that I had it on in the car and it was sort of put the tape in and go, oh yeah, no, this isn't working. And then I turned it up full blast. Yes, now the album's working.
That's how it's supposed to be.
This is perfect. And it's great production on it.
Should have written that on the sleeve, shouldn't we?
Yeah, play it very loud. Put it on 11 unless you've got a 12. Who was your producer on the album?
It was a Canadian guy named Bob Rock.
And that was his first time working with him.
That's his real name. Yeah. With a name
Bob
like that.
Rock?
Hey, how could you fail with a name like Bob Rock?
Yeah, really. He's our man.
Right. He'd done some stuff with Bon Jovi. He'd done Motley Crue. He'd done The Cult. And you know, with company like that, again, how could we fail?
Yeah.
So, you know, he just seemed to have this ability to bring out the best in the bands that he'd worked with before, and we really felt that we had never quite hit it right in the studio, and really felt that we needed somebody to come in and give us a severe kick.
Yeah,
sort of really push.
Whatever the combination was, I think it's really succeeded.
Yeah.
Well, no, hang on, I'll get onto that a little later. I want to talk about, I was going to ask another in-depth one. What about the Monsters of Rock tour? You've just come off that, the European tour. How was that?
It was good, very successful for Metallica. Played with AC/DC headlined.
Great, that must have been fun.
It was, really, it was good.
Careful what you say about AC/DC down there.
Yeah, that's right, because
actually it worked
their
out.
home and they're in town.
It did work
They're
out
playing
okay.
tonight.
That's right. So all over the weekend. And you got to play in Russia as well. What was
That was the last show of that whole tour.
that? Must have been so exciting to do that.
That was big, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
very
big.
different. The most people, obviously, we'd ever played in front of before. And it
How
was,
many in the audience?
It's hard to say. Depends who you ask. It could be from 250,000 to 500,000 to some people say.
250,000 people. How'd you like to have been the guy who bought the last ticket?
No,
It was
a free
hey,
concert.
Yeah, it was
free
actually
concert.
for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what it was a kind of a thank you. All the Russian soldiers who were sort of instrumental in averting the coup, they were all asked what they wanted as a thank you present. They all sort of held up their hands and said, we want metal show, yeah. So us and AC/DC and the Black Crowes went over and played for these guys, and it was a free gig.
That must have been so many people, and they're not used to your music, and you step on stage.
Yeah.
You must have been watching them as much as they were watching you.
Definitely.
I'll tell you
The crowd
what
was
was
amazing.
funny was sitting up on stage and watching about 15,000 soldiers or militiamen, as they call them over there, just standing there, you know, guarding. It was really heavy. Helicopters were
A
buzzing.
very
like,
intense Altamont,
yeah,
you know.
30
It was-
feet
it was
above the
amazing.
crowd, there was like helicopters, you know, flying around, like checking everybody out, making sure
Sensational.
everything was cool. Yeah.
See, Ivan Hutchinson's on the end there, quietly listening. You might not
What do
know
you
to
think
look
so
at him.
far?
But,
Great so
no, see, Lars, you wouldn't realise this because
I thought I should have got that Bob Rock to do my honky-tonk
No,
piano.
Yeah, so, Ivan, you're running yourself down. Guys, you wouldn't appreciate this, but when you guys were just in little leather diapers, Ivan was one of your heavy metal exponents. We actually have footage of him in his heavy metal band days. Have a look at this and rock. Well, of course, you're in television. The rest of you guys just have to slip around. Now, I know Joe works hard around clubs and stuff. Do you guys, we were just chatting, Jason, you guys do little bitty gigs as well?
Occasionally there are some thrown in. Before we started the tour with AC/DC in the beginning of August, we played a couple of gigs up in Northern California that we called Rehearsing with Metallica. There was 2 gigs at a club, about 800 seats. A lot of friends and stuff from the area, you know, came up and we just played, and maybe made a mistake or two and stopped a song and start
3, 4.
Yeah,
start up.
4, 3,
It really
400,
was
yeah.
like it was a good personal thing because we did start and stop a lot and mess around and
I think that must be fun for you.
It was.
You played
It
a quarter of a
definitely was.
million and then 800.
Yeah, we found that it's easier to work out our big bugs when we kind of do it in front of people rather than beating our head against the wall actually and months
in
and
an
months of
empty
rehearsal.
soundstage or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Now, there's something I've always wondered, when I've gone to the best, the rock concerts that stay out in my mind, always that same feeling of being in the audience, everyone's, your chest moving from the bass and everyone's chanting, waving their fist in the air, and there's all sweat coming off the walls and stuff. What's it like to be on stage when that sort of feeling's happening? What's the feeling in the
About
band
that
like?
times about 100.
You must get
It's
so...
just incredible. People always ask me, what's it like to sit up there and look at like 100,000 people, and it's like, it's a totally undescribable feeling, unless
Yeah.
you tried it. You just can't like
Because
relate
it's
it
not
to
like
somebody.
the audiences,
with words.
let's face it, the audiences that go to Metallica aren't going to sit there and go, oh yeah, nice, I like this one. It's not going to be that sort of vibe. I imagine there must be a huge amount of energy coming off the audience.
Yeah, very huge energy exchange, band and crowd always, no matter what country, what city, wherever you are, it's Metallica fans are the same wherever you go. Very, very aggressive and usually very appreciative and very encouraging,
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd really carry you on when you're feeling tired
Absolutely.
and thinking, oh, another gig.
Or after you've been
The
on for a
best cure
couple
for
hours
having a
or
bad
so,
day, believe me. You
Yeah.
sit there and moan and groan in your hotel room all day, and
And then have 100,000
people
people chanting your name. I guess it'd pick me up on my way to work.
Tiny picker up,
You're right, it is a bit of a pick-me-up when I'm feeling down. I must try that,
almost as good as coffee.
Yeah, but you can't get it decaffeinated, I guess. Now, something else I was going to ask. Now, where are you going to go from here? This album, as I said, is a little bit of a progression for the band. Have you got any ideas about what you'd like to do with the next album?
It's a long ways away, man.
Just forget about it? Don't have to worry, you can tour now and have all
It's
the...
so hard to say. It's so hard to say. We found that we're pretty much in a revolving a 3 or 3.5 year cycle at this point. When put on an album like this one, for instance, took almost a year to put together, and we'll go out on the road for who knows 14, 16, 18 months, take a couple months off, and start it all up again. So it's kind of a long cycle at this
Yeah,
point.
I think the main reason against doing another album right now is doing another promotional tour.
It's too grueling, too hard. Yeah, we've got to get more interviewees to be standing in front of you going, yes, yes. We've got to go away, but when we come back, we'll be chatting more and get Jen up here for the front pages. It'll be a full house, quite frankly. Later in Australia, when?
It's looking like it's lining up for May of next year.
Fantastic. Well, I hope it's great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be great. I hope you manage to get down for that. And if you haven't actually ever heard a Metallica album, this is the one to go and
Now's
buy.
a
And then
good
you can go
time.
back to the album.
Absolutely.
Jay, thanks so much, and thanks, Jim.